Welcome everybody to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Harding. That's me. Today I have Ammon Childs here with me. He is a veteran in the industry. Been around for a long time now. How long? Actually?
A minute. You know, it feels like yesterday, but 17 years.
17
if you can
years.
believe it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we started about the same time then, actually. So.
We've seen a little bit happen.
We've seen a little bit
between then and now, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. So, but and you know, for the next 15, we'll probably see some more. So
I hope so.
Yeah, a little bit of changing happening on. So, before we get into kind of some of the changes and different things going on there, let's kind of get to know you first. So Ammon, you grow up here. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about, like, you know, you, and then. You know, how did you get into real estate?
Totally.
Give me a little introduction there.
Yeah, a little introduction. You know, I was born in Wyoming, so I kind of have some Wyoming roots there. If anybody knows where Wyoming's at on the map.
I do know where Wyoming's at. Yes.
Yeah, but I was mostly raised and graduated high school in Smash Fork. Went to UVU for college, right? Married in 2004 and. My wife, Tasha, she also does real estate, by the way, side note.
Good.
Yes. We have 3 kids. 2 are teenagers, 17 and 15, and then Caboose, a 12-year-old, to bring up their rear end, yeah. You know, I got into real estate, like I said, 17 years ago, and honestly, it was just kind of one of those. I was looking for a career opportunity in my life at the time, and I had a friend that was doing real estate, and he was just doing great at it, and just his life just seemed a little more free than mine with the current life that I had, and so I looked into it a little bit, and I decided, you know what, I think this is an area that I could excel in because I love talking.
Yeah.
I like talking to people.
Good.
And I learned the industry as we went along, and I found that I actually really, really enjoy real estate and helping my clients, you know, achieve their real estate goals. And it just one thing led to another, and all these years passed by of doing what I enjoy.
Which you have to be semi-good at your job to last 17 years, I would assume.
One would assume, yeah.
Or you're just really, really lucky, right? I mean, you know, but you have to be at least semi-good to last that long. So, what do you contribute some of your success to? I mean, what have you done right, and maybe what have you done wrong? I guess over those 17 years.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot to reflect on as I look back, but I think the biggest thing for me was. I still feel this way. I always know that there's a little more that I need to learn. There's somebody else out there that I could, you know, pick their brain and understand the market just a little bit more, a little bit better, or practice, you know, working hard, really. I mean, your podcast is work hard, play hard.
That's right.
You understand the value of hard work, and you know, with that, sometimes you figure out that, hey, you don't know it all, and it seems even after all these years, still learning, right? That the market's constantly changing, so it's this ever evolving job that can be, it's a challenge, but also very rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, and you know, specifically anything you know that you've worked hard at, you know, as far as that have given you success, you know, I mean,
and when. My early years on in real estate, I joined up with a builder, and so I have 12 years of builder experience, right? Working with new construction. Yeah. So I understand that very, very well.
Sure.
Yeah. And interesting enough, I've had quite a bit of different types of real estate come my way, everything from commercial leases, high-end luxury, you know, residential properties, a little bit of land development. So I think as you're in it for a while, you kind of see all of it. And I've been lucky enough to have opportunities in all sorts of different aspects of real estate that I've been able to dip my toe in and successfully transact some deals. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, good. We like fun. So tell us about new construction and stuff like that. Is that still you know, if I was a buyer, you know, is that an area that I should maybe look into, you know, as opposed to existing homes, or kind of pros and cons of that? You know, let's
Yeah, absolutely.
those right now.
Yeah, in Utah right now, especially along the Wasatch Front, like new construction is just booming, right?
Okay.
And a lot of that is we have a shortage of inventory with the amount of people that want to live here, buy here.
Yeah.
And so the only way to get more inventory is to create it. So new construction, we all know, has just been on the rise and booming. And there's pros and cons to both. New construction, I mean, obviously it's brand new.
Yeah.
No, everybody loves that new car smell. You know what I mean? New
sure.
house smell.
Sure.
You really can't
sure.
can't beat that. It benefits to new construction also. Most of the time, you can pick colors and options and those sort of things. And they also come with a builder's warranty. So there's new community, new faces. You know, new amenities, new HOAs. So there's all those pros. You know, some of the cons to new construction, maybe you have to wait. Got to wait for them to be built, and that can take some time, and especially with a fluctuating interest rate, you know, market as we've seen. Sometimes people are like, "Hey, I can't wait a year. I'm not sure what's going to happen there," and so that's where a resale or buying an existing home would just be an absolute benefit. Also, resale, it may be in the right location that you want to be in. You know, maybe it's next to some friends and family that you want to be there.
Sure.
And so yeah, there's pros and cons to both of them, but new construction is a great option right now.
Okay. And I guess, you know, I've always thought sometimes with those existing homes, you can sometimes get a few more add-ons, like maybe the landscaping's already done and stuff like that, I guess, right? You're not paying for some of those things that are harder to quantify, I guess.
Yeah. Sometimes in new construction, like doing the landscaping, putting the fence in, you know, a tree's got to grow.
Yeah.
You might not have mature trees for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Those can be overlooked by people that buy new construction that aren't advised on. You know, maybe they don't have a real estate agent that can say, hey, listen, you're buying new construction, and this may be the cost, but you need to look in addition some extra costs, like landscaping, fencing, blinds, you know, maybe some appliances that you may need that you overlooked. So yeah, those could be some things that you need to be aware of.
What about, so let's shift gears here a little bit. Obviously you work with both first-time home buyers to, you know, experienced buyers and stuff like that. You work with, you know, $200,000-$300,000 homes to millions of dollar homes, right?
Yes.
So any differences between, well, obviously there's differences, but like, you know, like how have you found success? Obviously you have a multi-million-dollar listing and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So how do you treat that differently than you would say, you know, a $300,000 home?
Yeah, you know, it's all about the client.
Okay.
And I would say I don't treat them any different.
Okay.
Regardless of the purchase price, location, what my client's wants or needs are. I mean, obviously, a multi-million-dollar listing is way more expensive, and it's probably going to attract a different type buyer or seller to a home that's a little more affordable. And so, but the way that I like to do business, white glove, if you will, is full service to my clients, regardless of what the property is that they're selling or what the property is that they're buying.
Okay.
So there's different marketing strategies in the market today, in which, you know, depending upon the property, you can tackle in different ways.
Sure.
So yeah, that's a great question, but I like to pride myself on just what I do for one, I'll do for all my clients, and it's work hard.
Yeah,
right?
Good. good. So really, yeah, you are treating them all, you know, the same and stuff like that. But obviously, like you said, it does attract a different clientele that's maybe going for that $1 million home, right? You know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so your marketing needs would be a little bit different, you know, if you're trying to sell that property versus one that's a little more affordable, or maybe it's appeals to a first-time home buyer, you know. So those are things that you can assess and evaluate, and an experienced realtor is going to, you know, just dive deep on that, really dig out ways that they can move a certain property or help them, you know, get into one.
Sure. Okay. And I guess you know, the listing side, you're probably, you know, maybe are you doing more to advertise that home, I guess, than you would, you know, a normal home, videos, different things like that, or do you do that again with all of them and stuff?
Yeah, you know, I found that everybody loves videos.
Yeah.
Interesting how the market's changing lately. You know, it used to just be flyers, but also the internet's a big one. So different ways that you can market, you know, the properties on what people are looking at, different websites that they're going to. You know, maybe a first-time home buyer is going to be looking at a different website than somebody that's looking for a ranch property, you know, or a luxury listing.
Okay.
So yeah, that again, you kind of got to tailor that according to the client's wants and needs.
Okay. What about now? Obviously, again, you've been doing this for a long time. Where do a lot of your clients come from? I mean, you know, where? I mean, are you heavy into, you know, leads, or is it, you know, past clients and different things like that? You know, that kind of sphere of influence. Other places, where have you found success? How is Ammon successful?
Yes.
You know, how have you lasted so long, Ammon? No.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And my favorite type of leads are referral based, right?
Okay. Yep.
So,
Obviously. Yep.
When I do a fantastic job and my clients say, you know what, I know so and so that may be looking or buying and selling, those by far and above just what I absolutely thrive and love. But I think as a real estate agent today, you need to explore all angles of finding people that are wanting to buy and sell. And yes, sphere of influence is a very big one. You know, past clientele is a very big one.
Yeah.
You know what, when I first got into this industry, and I still do it today, I knock doors.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you never know. There are some listings that I've taken a listing and I've gone around to the neighborhood and just knocked on doors, handed flyers to the neighbors. Yeah,
nice. And that's worked.
It's worked. You would be surprised at how many people are know somebody that maybe wants to live in the neighborhood.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Or or maybe they themselves are saying, hey, look, you know, I'm glad you showed up. I'm looking to sell.
Yeah.
It's shocking, but for some people, it's a little bit intimidating going door to door. Not, you know, knocking doors to doors. There's dogs and cats, all sorts of scary things out there.
No soliciting signs that say, get out of here, you know, right?
Yeah.
We don't want you here. So, no, that makes sense. Okay, that's good to know. That knocking doors actually has worked for you and stuff. So, okay. What? Let's you know, switch gears again. Some big news has taken place. This NAR settlement, right? That you know, has taken place with realtor commissions and different things like that. You know, some are saying, hey, it's a minor, subtle change, you know, in the rules and stuff like that. Not a lot's changing. You know, other people are saying, hey, no, hey, this is a huge change. This is going to, you know, kind of change a lot of the industry. Give me your thoughts on it as far as, and we won't make you predict the future, because obviously I think we're, as a whole industry, we're not sure exactly how this is all going to affect things, but we do know it's going to affect things. So, but go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Let me give you my thoughts, or the rundown on what I think. But I think first and foremost, people need to understand that as of today, nothing's been finalized, right? Okay. The proposed settlement has come out from the NAR, the National Association of Realtors, and everybody has their opinions and their takes and their spin on it, and it will be interesting to see how this does end up affecting, you know, the real estate industry as a whole. What I've learned from greater minds than myself about this settlement is, interesting enough, Utah is already following all of these rules that the NAR is proposing in this settlement.
Interesting.
Yes, we are required to get buyer broker signatures, you know, from our clients. Yeah. The commission, you know, dispute is never set. It's a negotiable thing, and so I think what this will do, especially for real estate agents in Utah, is it will require all of us to step up on our professionalism.
Sure.
Yeah. Put the white gloves back on. You know, I gave this a little bit of thought, and just a few years ago, post-COVID pandemic, right? The market was white hot.
Yeah.
It was lightning hot. You really didn't have a chance to even get to know clients
No,
or
you're just-
even get to know property. Yeah, people are just coming in, just buying stuff just so fast,
Yeah.
so quick.
Sight unseen sometimes.
Sight unseen sometimes. Maybe even real estate commissions unspoken about
Yep.
sometimes, or even missed signed
Yep.
contractual client agreement
Sure.
sometimes. And,
Sure.
and I think that all that contributed to just a really sour taste in a consumer's mouth,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And so this is, in my opinion, I think it's a great thing. It's going to require a lot of us real estate agents to step up our game,
Yeah.
articulate our value to our clients, and prove once again that the benefit of why we're here and why we're there to help them.
Which, I mean, you bring up a very good point, because again, I mean, going back to the whole point of real estate, it's the largest purchase most people make in their lives, right? And so, a lot of times people are trying to, hey, I want to pay the least amount of possible, right? But there's some cons to that, right? Especially where it comes to this multi-million-dollar home, $100,000 home, whatever it is. I mean, why is a realtor still important to a buyer or seller, I guess, in this market?
Yeah, and the great thing about our country and our laws is buyers and sellers can buy and sell on their own.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think the number one reason at why you would use a real estate agent is for their expertise, knowledge, right? Just their overall understanding of contracts, the market itself, the needs of the marketing, what to look for in a home inspection for those specific needs. Unless most people don't dabble in real estate all the time, and so some of these things can be super complicated.
Yeah.
Also, the other great reason why you would hire a real estate agent is to have that backing of a broker, right? A brokerage is going to protect them against things that may arise, maybe title disputes, maybe items wrong with the home that weren't disclosed. As a buyer or seller, those are things that you really don't want to be, caught in,
Sure.
or have happen to you. So a lot of these things, some things can't, it just happens. There's nothing you can do about it. But most of them can be avoided and at least known about and disclosed by experienced real estate agent.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, agents, they have an edge on the market. What's
Sure,
happening?
what's going on?
Yeah, inventories and sold properties, under contract properties, off market properties, that sort of thing.
Talk to me about, so continuing on with this, like, I've heard, obviously there's a lot of chatter. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But one thing that's come out that kind of makes sense to me, and I guess I get your opinion on it. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does, but is having maybe a menu of services for, say, a buyer's agent. So like, hey, I want the full service, right? Kind of thing. Or, hey, I am an experienced person. I know what I'm doing. Really, all I need you to do is X or Y or Z. And I don't know what those are and stuff like that yet. But have you thought about that as far as different things, the kind of a menu of services, or what are your thoughts on just that? Yeah.
Yeah, and my personal opinion is why not have it all, right?
Sure.
If you're going to hire somebody to do the job, let's say you hired a concrete guy to lay some concrete, but you're like, hey, listen, I'll do the rebar,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Fair enough.
It's like, wait, you're a computer programmer? How is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there are options,
Yeah.
and what you could do that, and maybe your client's needs is they don't need you as much for all those services, and definitely something like that can be negotiated.
Sure.
And tailored to fit their needs. But again, my opinion is, if I'm going to go for it, if you hire me, I'm going to go all the way.
And so for you, you're saying, hey, that makes the most sense. But you are also open to, if somebody came to you and said, hey, Ammon, I only need you for this part, you're open to that, I guess, kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely, and I probably would end up doing all of
it. And that's going to be the hard part, right?
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of agents, is, well, okay, yeah, but I know you think you can do this, but you can't actually do this, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah, and it may be, you're talking about a situation there where maybe I need to articulate a little bit better about what I can actually do for them, or simply guide them through the buying or selling process that maybe they want to do on their own, that's okay. How
Yeah.
can I help? And hopefully, if I do a good enough job, right, in the end, you end up coming to a successful close.
Which makes sense. I mean, we live in an age where, hey, I read on WebMD about this, so now I'm a doctor,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay,
Yep.
Give this guy some credit that went to school for 6, 8, 10, years to become whatever he is. He probably knows what he's doing,
Yes.
right? I mean, and you have 17 years of real estate experience. Like, there's some things you probably know that the average person doesn't know. And just because they read an article, doesn't mean that they now are an expert in that industry. It doesn't mean that they don't know some things, but again, I think some issues are a little more complex than in a 30-second soundbite on Instagram, right?
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that. What I found, a lot of my clients that read up, brush up on their real estate, whatever avenue that it is that they're looking into, they come into this very knowledgeable.
Okay.
I hope they don't. Most of them don't feel like they're an expert in the industry, but what that does for them is it helps them bring up the right questions that they need to ask to experience. The WebMD thing, I've done that before, right? I've sat down with my doctor. I'm like, hey, I read.
Sure. Yeah.
But I've always looked at it as you're the doctor, right? This is what I have found. Here's my concerns. You tell me what your expertise is in. By far and above, it's always better than what I read or even saw on TikTok or Instagram.
Which I like that. So because obviously to be learned is good, right? It's good to learn things, to gain knowledge and stuff like that, but also to recognize then that there is still an expert in the room, and that's in the form of a doctor or whatever professional kind of has that experience, right?
Yes.
So you're encouraging clients, hey, do read, listen, learn, but also know that probably there's more to that than a 30-second reel, right?
Yes.
And so, let me elaborate on that. You've asked the wise question because you learned some things, but now there's some more stuff there. So
yeah, it's like building a house. I could watch plenty of YouTube videos, but until you actually do it, I mean, there's something in there. I could learn all about it, know everything, but until you actually put a shovel in the dirt, like there's something to be said there.
You don't really know what. That makes sense.
That's a great question, though. Right?
I like that. I get every now and then a good question here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ammon. Appreciate that. Anything else on the NAR settlement that we bring up or talk about? I mean, on that subject.
I've heard so many different sides of it. I think I gave a little bit of my opinion, but I think I'll hold and wait and see what actually ends up getting settled. But it is one of those. It's a hot button right now. You know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
For sure. And I guess, you and I were talking before this started. I think I like what you just said there with waiting. I'm going to wait and kind of see how things, play out. And I think obviously a good real estate agent will adapt to however this plays out. I mean, again, the strong will survive, but the strong are sometimes the ones that are maybe creative or able to adapt to, hey, this is a new world now. What's changed? And maybe some things haven't changed. Like you said, Utah's already been doing some of these things, but at least with all the news, buyers are going to be thinking in their minds more about commissions because that's plastered all over the papers, right? I mean, it's front page news in a lot of different places. And so, like it or not, buyers are thinking this way, even if it's not totally true and stuff. So we'll see how things play out, I guess.
Yeah, and again, not to kick a dead horse, but it's one of those things that now commissions are forefront. It is something that needs to be talked about with every single real estate agent. It's a great opportunity as a real estate agent to say, hey, listen, these are the reasons at why you're hiring me, in which if we have success in the end here, I get paid. And again, that raises a level of service to the client that maybe we haven't seen in a while. Maybe we haven't seen that in a while. And so for some of us, that's exciting.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for some of us, I think that, again, it'll raise the bar, which I mean, anytime you can, I mean, that happened with mortgages and stuff like that. There was a lot of change in the industry after the financial crisis and stuff like that. Mortgage brokers, lenders got blamed for a lot of things that probably wasn't their fault, but it did elevate the game. It made those guys have to step up and be a little bit better than they were before. I remember there was a lot of part-time loan officers that got out. They just couldn't, because things were changing so much that you couldn't actually be a professional in the industry unless you did it full time, and so.
Yeah, and I think you've seen that like with the refi world,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Refis used to be really, really big.
For
and
sure.
especially as interest rates are dropping. Some mortgage guys got really good at refis, but
Yep.
maybe nothing else. And then when the market turns,
Yeah.
you got to either adapt or they fall away.
Or they fall away, and I think a lot of them have. So yeah. Okay, switching gears. Kind of just talking about Utah real estate in general. What are your thoughts on? Obviously you talk about there's still a lot of growth happening and stuff like that. Any forecasts for Utah in general? I mean, as far as buying real estate here and stuff like that, still a good idea, or should we all just wait to not buy real estate? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, we've seen just huge influx of out-of-state buyers, also up-and-coming first-time home buyers here in the state, and there's a need for inventory. So if you still, to this day, if you are thinking about selling your home or wanting to sell your home to upgrade or maybe even downsize, it is the best time to list and sell your house because there's really not much for sale out there. Okay. So buyers that are coming here that want to buy something, they are limited on how many different homes that they have. And with that limitation as a seller, you're more likely to find a buyer more quickly that's willing to give you market value than when there's just a plethora of inventory. Yeah. And as a buyer, the other side of the coin is, I don't know why you wouldn't buy. If I could go back and just tell younger Ammon one thing, it was, hey, just buy that real estate because it appreciates over time. You know what I mean? And interest rates will come and go, and you could always refi. Yeah. And the forecast is interest rates will continue to lower, right? So if you're a buyer, you're looking to upgrade, or you're looking to get into your first time home, or the property that you've always wanted came onto the market, I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah. It's a fantastic time.
No, that would be my only regret is I didn't buy more properties, sooner.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, but
because as you get further down the road, you look back and you just think, man, I should have got two of those.
Yeah. Instead of, well, I've made far more off my real estate than even just my main job at times. You know what I mean? As far as depreciation and different things like that with different rental properties.
It's a fantastic investment, and show me one wealthy person out there that doesn't own real estate.
No, agreed.
Yeah, I've yet to meet one. So.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Well, I haven't met any of them, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. What stats wise, you mentioned like inventory low, days on market. Do you know those stats offhand? Like, are we getting more inventory? Are we still pretty low on inventory relative to this time of year and stuff like that? And I put you on the spot. I don't know if you know those numbers.
Yeah, I didn't pull them directly off to memorize them, but inventory is slightly ticking up, but it's well below what is considered what a normal healthy market. Also well below what buyers are demanding right now. So we've seen a little bit of depreciation in home values from the peak of the pandemic, but they're still appreciating in value, many of these real estate properties. So it's a mixed market a little bit, with the higher interest rates. Yeah. It can be difficult if you have an interest rate at 3% to turn around and buy something at maybe 5.5%, 6%. Yeah. It can be difficult for that. But one thing's for sure that I've learned over the years is people always buy and sell.
Yeah. Okay. Ammon, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
I'm glad you're here. Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Anything we didn't cover that you wanted to hit before we kind of wrap up?
No, I think we got a lot of it as far as like what the market's doing today. You know what I mean? But my best thing that I tell my clients right now is, are you looking to save money or are you looking to make money? Because if you're looking to make money, it's a fantastic time to dabble into real estate or sell that property or buy that property. Yeah. Because things can only get better. Yeah. Values appreciating.
That's a good way to end. I like it. So it is, real estate's I always tell people it's get rich slowly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, it is, and it does happen. You know, there's a lot of things that say they'll get rich quick, but most of those are fake and don't work. But real estate is kind of tried and proven to get rich slowly. I mean, it does happen over time.
Solid investment.
Yeah,
Yes.
solid investment. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thanks everybody for listening to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast, and
Thanks, everybody.
We'll take you up. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.